Hey everyone, and welcome back to Unpacking Life, the podcast where we try to make sense of all the little stories that shape us. I'm Mia.
And I'm Lucas. Great to be here, Mia.
So glad you could make it, Lucas. Today, we're diving into a story that feels so incredibly common, yet, it hits home, right? It's called The Busy Man and the Old Woman.
It's a classic setup, isn't it? One of those tales that instantly conjures up a feeling.
Totally. And this one, it's about Sori, who sounds like my spirit animal before coffee. He's always rushing, never even stopping to say hello to his neighbors. Just a blur of motion.
Yeah, that's a powerful image. The kind of person who sees the world as a series of obstacles to be navigated at maximum speed, rather than something to actually experience.
Exactly. And then, one day, he sees an old woman just really struggling with a bucket of water. Really struggling. And for a split second, Sori hesitates.
That hesitation is key. It's that tiny crack in the armor of his perpetual rush. It shows a flicker of humanity breaking through the drivenness.
Right, and he does help her. Which is nice, not a total lost cause. He lifts the bucket, and then she looks up at him, and she says this line that it stops you.
Oh, I know the line. It's the core of the whole thing, isn't it? You're always running. Slow down, young man. Life is not just about reaching, it's about living.
Man, that line, it's so simple, but it's like a punch to the gut. Because you realize, oh shoot, am I that person? And for Sori, it hits. That night, he's lying there, and he realizes he can't even remember the last time he just enjoyed a simple moment, really enjoyed it.
That's the haunting realization. The disconnect between the active pursuit of goals and the passive appreciation of existence. He's been so focused on the destination, he's forgotten the journey is the point.
It makes you think, doesn't it? What are we all rushing towards? And what are we missing in the process? So, Lucas, when you hear this story, the busy man and the old woman and Sori's relentless pace, what does that first bring to mind for you in terms of how we approach our own lives?
It immediately brings to mind the modern phenomenon of what I call performance living. It's this pervasive idea that every single second of our day needs to be optimized for some kind of output or achievement. We're not just living, we're producing a life.
Performance living. I like that. It sounds exhausting. So it's even our downtime has to be productive.
Exactly. If you're not working out, you should be learning a new language. If you're not learning a new language, you should be networking. If you're not networking, you should be meditating with a purpose to increase focus. The goalposts are always shifting towards more.
Wow, and it's funny, because the story highlights Sori's physical rush, but it's also this mental, almost spiritual rush too. He's so caught up in the asterisk doing that the being is just bypassed.
That's a great way to put it. The being is the quiet space. It's where reflection happens, where joy is found in the mundane. Sori's problem isn't just that he's physically fast. It's that he's emotionally and mentally stunted by his speed.
And this old woman, she's like this anchor, isn't she? This moment of stillness in his frantic day. It's almost like she's a symbol of nature or timeless wisdom that he's just whizzing past.
She represents the unhurried pace of the world that exists outside of our self-imposed deadlines, the steady rhythm of nature, of genuine human connection. It's there, but Sori's too busy looking at his watch to notice.
Yeah, he's like a bullet train, just whoosh. And she's this gentle breeze. So the story emphasizes that life is not just about reaching. It's about living. That's the core lesson, right? How do you think this translates to the modern workplace, where the pressure to achieve is so intense?
In the workplace, it's a constant battle. We see it in the glorification of burnout. People wear their exhaustion like a badge of honor. It's as if pushing yourself to the brink is the only proof that you're valuable, that you're reaching something significant.
No kidding. It's like, I haven't slept in 3 days, but look at this report. It's so counterproductive, though. Don't you think being burned out actually hinders your ability to reach goals?
Absolutely. It's a cognitive and physical trap. When you're constantly running, your attention span narrows. You miss details. You make mistakes. You can't innovate or connect deeply. You're just executing a sprint until you collapse, not building a sustainable marathon.
Right, you're just reacting and pushing, not really thinking or creating. It's like trying to paint a masterpiece with a broken brush. You can still apply paint, but it's not going to be pretty.
That's a good analogy. And the old woman's advice is essentially urging Sori to find a new brush, or maybe even just step back and appreciate the canvas for a moment. It's about shifting from frantic activity to intentional presence.
Intentional presence. I like that a lot. It sounds like the opposite of Sori's initial state. So, for this first topic, about Sori's rush and the old woman's wisdom, the key takeaway is that living life at a breakneck speed means we miss the actual living part, leading to a hollow sense of achievement. Let's bookmark that and continue after a break. All right, welcome back to Unpacking Life. We were just talking about how Sori's constant rush meant he was missing out on the living part of life. And Lucas, you brought up this idea of performance living, where even downtime has to be productive.
Yeah, and that directly connects to the next part of Sori's story, which is his realization that night. He actually reflects on his life. The text says that night, Sori realized he couldn't remember the last time he enjoyed a simple moment.
Wow, that's such a powerful, almost chilling realization. It's like a light bulb going off, but it's a really dim, flickering light bulb in a dark room. He's finally stopped running, but he's faced with this void.
It's the void of unlived experience. He's been so focused on the destination, on asterisk reaching the next milestone, that he never actually lived the moments between those milestones. Those moments are now just blank spaces in his memory.
It's like, looking at a photo album and finding entire pages are just missing. You know the photos were supposed to be there, but they're just gone. And Sori's just realized his life album is missing all the enjoying a simple moment pages.
That's a very apt metaphor. And it underscores the urgency of the old woman's advice. It wasn't just a gentle suggestion. It was a warning about the potential emptiness of a life lived solely in pursuit of the next thing.
Definitely. So the life lesson that's attached to this story is don't live life in a hurry. The small moments you ignore today may become the memories you wish you had tomorrow. That's so resonant. Can you tell us more about how this plays out in, say, the way we consume information or even entertainment, Lucas?
That's a fascinating angle. In terms of information consumption, it mirrors the Sori effect perfectly. Think about how we skim articles, how we watch show trailers instead of the actual content, or how we consume podcasts at double speed. We're often more interested in the asterisk act of consuming information quickly than in actually understanding or experiencing it.
Oh man, I'm so guilty of the double speed podcast thing. I tell myself it's efficient, but is it really? Am I actually absorbing anything, or am I just ticking a box?
That's the question. And it's the same with entertainment. We might have hundreds of streaming services, but we're always looking for the asterisk's next big thing to watch, often scrolling endlessly through options instead of settling in and truly enjoying something. We're rushing past potential moments of joy because we're anxious about missing out on something better.
So it's like we're so busy collecting titles on our watch lists that we forget to actually watch the movies or shows. We're collecting the potential for enjoyment rather than the enjoyment itself.
Precisely. We're curating a future state of having enjoyed things, rather than engaging in the present act of enjoyment. It's the performance of being entertained rather than the experience of it.
This is making me reevaluate my entire life, but in a good way. So let's tie this back to the busy man and the old woman, Sori's realization about missing simple moments. How does this avoidance of the present, this focus on reaching rather than living, affect our relationships, do you think?
It's devastating for relationships. When we're rushed, we're not fully present with the people we care about. We're checking our phones during conversations, we're thinking about our next meeting, or we're just physically present but mentally absent.
Yeah, so you're there, but you're not there. Your body is at dinner, but your mind is on that email you need to send. It's like being a ghost in your own life, even when you're with loved ones.
Exactly. And those missed moments, those half-heard conversations, those distracted smiles, Those are the tiny bricks that build a strong relationship. When they're absent, the foundation starts to crumble. The people you care about feel unseen, unheard, and unvalued.
And it's so ironic. We rush through life to get to some future point where we think we'll have more time for loved ones, but in our haste, we destroy the very relationships that would make that future meaningful.
It's a self-defeating cycle. We sacrifice quality of connection for the asterisk illusion of quantity of time later. We're so focused on collecting achievements, we forget that the richest rewards in life often come from shared, unhurried moments of simple human connection.
It's like, we're so busy building this elaborate house for our future selves, we forget to actually live in it and enjoy it with the people we love. We're just in the construction zone, always.
That's a great visual. And the old woman, in her brief interaction with Sori, is essentially highlighting the structural integrity of that house. She's saying, hey, if you don't take time to appreciate the view from the windows, to feel the texture of the walls, to share a meal in the dining room, what's the point of having the house at all?
She's saying, you're so busy building the house, you're not actually living in it. That's so profound. So to recap this part about Sori's realization and the life lesson of savoring small moments, the core idea is that a life spent in constant hurry means we miss out on genuine experiences and meaningful connections, leaving us with a regretful sense of what could have been. Let's pause and resume shortly. And we're back on Unpacking Life. Before the break, we were dissecting the core message of the busy man and the old woman, that we shouldn't live life in a hurry, because those overlooked small moments become the memories we crave. Lucas, you've really opened my eyes to how this plays out in modern life, from work to entertainment to our relationships.
I think it's a universal struggle, Mia. The story of Sori is a mirror for so many of us. His initial frantic energy, his act of kindness, his subsequent realization, it's all incredibly relatable.
Totally. And it makes me think about how we often try to asterisk force these moments of enjoyment, right? Like, we schedule fun time or relaxation, but the old woman's wisdom feels more organic, more about allowing life to happen rather than to making it happen.
That's a crucial distinction. Forcing enjoyment often turns it into another task on the to-do list, another performance. True enjoyment, like Sori's eventual realization of missing out, comes from a place of quiet observation and appreciation. It's about being open to the serendipity of life, not controlling it.
Serendipity. Yeah. So instead of Sori scheduling bucket-lifting observation for himself, the old woman's presence was unexpected. It interrupted his rush and offered him a chance to see something differently.
Exactly, and that's where the true value lies. In those unplanned pauses, those moments of connection that aren't mediated by an app or a calendar. It's the unplanned chat with a neighbor, the spontaneous detour on a walk, the unscripted laughter with a friend.
And I think for a lot of us, those unplanned moments are becoming rarer. We curate our environments so much, we schedule our social interactions. It's like we're building these perfect little bubbles, but then we wonder why life feels a bit sterile.
The bubbles are a defense mechanism against the unpredictable, but the unpredictable is also where the richness lies. Sori's rush was a bubble, an armor against engaging with his community. The old woman, in that one instant, pierced that bubble.
Right. And it's funny, Sori's initial rush could be seen as a way to avoid feeling overwhelmed, but in avoiding the small, manageable interactions, he ended up with a much bigger, more overwhelming feeling of regret.
It's the classic avoidance paradox. You run from something, only to find it waiting for you in a much larger, more menacing form later on. Sori's avoidance of genuine connection and appreciation led him to a profound existential loneliness.
Existential loneliness. That's a heavy phrase. So the story is basically a gentle nudge, or maybe a not-so-gentle nudge from that old woman, to say, hey, the thing you're so focused on reaching, it's not worth it if you don't even get to feel what it's like to be alive while you're getting there.
Precisely. It's about shifting our perspective from a goal-oriented trajectory to an experience-oriented journey. It's not about abandoning goals, but about ensuring that the process of pursuing them is infused with life, with presence, and with appreciation.
So for Sori, the reaching was his job, his appointments, his constant movement, but the living was the potential for connection with his neighbors, the enjoyment of a quiet morning, the simple act of helping someone without expecting anything back. It's the texture of life, you know?
It is the texture, the feel of the sun on your skin, the sound of children laughing, the taste of a good meal. These are not distractions from our goals. They are the very substance of a life well lived. Sori was so focused on the destination that he ignored the actual terrain he was traveling on.
And he was probably so focused on the destination, he didn't even notice the beautiful scenery passing by. Or maybe he did, but he just dismissed it as unimportant. Just trees, you know? Not, wow, look at that ancient oak.
That's exactly it. He saw the trees of his everyday life as mere background noise, as things to be bypassed. The old woman, by highlighting his rush, forced him to look up from the engine of his life and notice the landscape. She gave him a moment to see the beauty he was missing.
It's almost like she gave him a gift, right? A moment of clarity. And it's a gift that's available to all of us if we just slow down enough to receive it. That's what I'm getting from this story anyway.
It is a gift. A gift that requires us to actively choose presence over perpetual motion. It's a conscious decision to engage with the world around us, to appreciate the small, often overlooked moments that make up the fabric of our lives.
So, Lucas, when we think about the busy man and the old woman and its life lesson, what's one final thought you'd leave our listeners with about integrating this into their own lives, especially when things feel so hectic?
I'd say intentionally create small pockets of pause. Don't wait for a dramatic encounter with an old woman. Schedule 5 minutes to just sit and observe your surroundings. Take a mindful sip of your coffee. Really listen to the person next to you, without formulating your response. These small acts of presence build a foundation for a richer, more memorable life. They transform mere reaching into genuine living.
Intentionally create pockets of pause. I love that. It's practical, it's achievable. Thank you so much, Lucas, for unpacking this story with me today. It's been incredibly insightful.
My pleasure, Mia. It's a story that definitely warrants deeper reflection.
It really does. And that wraps up today's episode of Unpacking Life. Remember to cherish those small moments. They're the ones that truly matter. Thanks for listening.